Good evening. This is seventh and last video lesson of second chapter, electric potential and capacitance. We are left with only two topics now. One is a combination of capacitors in parallel and energy of the capacitor. If time permits, we will discuss some marginal issues of this chapter also. So in last class, we were discussing about series combination of capacitors, and we have derived the expression 1 by Cs equals to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3 for the combination of three capacitors. Suppose if you have n number of capacitors, for n number of capacitors in series, we have 1 by C. So now see, this is 1 by C, right? So I write it as 1 by Cs here. S stands for series. So here also S stands for series. Is 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3 plus dash 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 dash, and the last one is 1 by C1. Now if all are identical, capacitors, each one is having a capacitance C, then 1 by Cs equals to 1 by C plus 1 by C plus 1 by C plus dash dash dash, like this. So this is 1 by Cs equals to n by C, so that Cs equals to C by n. And we have concluded in the last class that the capacitance decreases when you connect them in series. Suppose you have got three capacitors, each of them are having 1 microfarad, C1 equals to 1 microfarad, C2 equals to 1 microfarad, and C3 is also 1 microfarad. All of them are identical. So C series will be now C by n, C by 3. Each one is having 1 microfarad. So this is by 3, that is 0.33 microfarad. So you don't get even the value which you have in the combination. So this will be 0.33 microfarad is less than the capacitance of any one capacitor given. So it is to remember that in order to decrease the net capacitance, capacitors should be connected in series. Right. Now we will go for parallel combination. So second one is parallel combination of capacitors. Parallel combination of capacitors. We will take the same three capacitors, C1, C2 and C3. So they have different capacitance because capacitance basically depends on these things: area of the plates, separation between the plates, and the medium between the plates. Let us imagine that all of them are having same separation, but they have different plate area. So because of this, they are having different capacitances. So when all such capacitors are connected in parallel to what? Battery. Suppose here I have a battery like this. This is a plus minus. So this should be connected like this. Left plate to positive terminal, right plate to negative terminal. Similarly, this also should be connected like this. Left plate positive, right plate negative. So this also like this. So every capacitor is now directly connected to the battery. All left side plates are connected to positive terminal. Right side plates are connected to negative terminal. Therefore, all of them will develop the same potential as that of the battery. If this is 12 volt, here also there will be 12 volt. Here also there will be 12 volt. Here also there will be 12 volt. So the thing what you should remember is, when capacitors are put in parallel, potential difference across each capacitor is same, and that is equal to the potential difference of the battery. So this diagram looks somewhat awkward. So therefore, this we will make in some other way, like this is C1 and this is C2 and here is C3. First we join all of them like this, and we take the common point we connect it to the battery of potential difference V, plus minus, this is V. So these two diagrams are identical, one and same. So instead of connecting everything to the battery, now we connected all of them together to one point, and then these points are connected to battery. So therefore, what is the potential difference available across this? Means it is V. Here how much is the potential difference? This is V. Here is how much? V. But we said that because the plate area of capacitors are different, so that is the reason why they have got different capacitance. When plate area is different, obviously the number of free electrons available on the surface will be different. So that is the reason why this positive terminal will try to pull free electrons. Suppose this is having the highest plate area, so more number of free electrons will come over here. This is having say some intermediate plate area, so less number of free electrons will come. And this is the least plate area, so less number of free electrons will come here. Now, as we discussed in the last class, the system was electrically neutral before connecting to a battery. Now also the system should remain neutral. So therefore, this should develop equal and opposite of negative charge. This will be like this will be like this. Observe that we have shown different charges on different capacitors. So therefore, when capacitors are in parallel, first point what you should remember is, number one, potential difference is same across all capacitors. Second one, charge on the plates, charge on the capacitors is different. Right. So therefore, this battery is supplying some charge to the capacitors. When you add these all charges, it should be equal to charge supplied by the battery. So this charge I will name it as Q1 here, and this charge is Q2, and this charge is Q3. So C1 will develop Q1 charge, C2 will develop Q2 charge, and C3 will develop Q3 charge. So therefore, the total charge Q must be equals to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. Okay, so now this will be, you have the equation C equals to Q by V, therefore Q equals to C into V. So how many times we are using this equation, you remember. There are some basic equations in electrostatics which we are repeatedly using. At least you should remember them. Okay, so Q is nothing but C into V. So this C1 into, shall I write V1? No need, because every plate has got same potential difference. So C1V plus C2V plus C3V. As the potential difference is same, V1, V2, V3, no need to be written. So now you can take Q equals to V common, C1 plus C2 plus C3. You bring this V this side, Q divided by V equals to C1 plus C2 plus C3. Then Q divided by V is nothing but what? C. So in the place of Q by V, I will write C. So as we are discussing about parallel combination, I put a subscript Cp equals to C1 plus C2 plus C3. This is your derivation. Clear? So very easy. In series, charge will remain same, potential is different. Add the potentials, you will get the derivation. In parallel, potential difference is same, but charge is different. Add the charge, you will get the derivation. Okay? So this is not a question to be asked in the examination. It is only a knowledge how to express series combination and parallel combination net capacitance. But applications based on these two are very, very important. Okay? Right. Now suppose you have got n number of capacitors. This can be generalized C1 plus C2 plus C3 plus dash 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 up to Cn. If all of them are identical, then Cp will be C plus C plus C. 3 are there, 3C, 4 are there, 4C, n are there, nC. So plus dash 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 up to n. So C parallel equals to n into C. So C series is C by N and C parallel is nothing but what? N into C. Okay. So now you see, if I am given 1 microfarad, 1 microfarad, 1 microfarad and I connect them in parallel, then how much capacitance I will obtain? 1 plus 1 plus 1, that is nothing but what? 3 microfarad. So the capacitance is now increasing. So if I want to have more capacitance, then I should connect the capacitors in parallel but not in series. If you connect them in series, capacitance will decrease. If you connect them in parallel, capacitance will what? Increase. Capacitance increases because of the reason that the effective plate area is what? Increasing. As the plate area increases, capacitance will what? Increase. In series combination, what will happen? The effective distance will what? Increase, therefore capacitance will decrease. So these are the reasons why the capacitance increases and decreases. So therefore, some one mark questions will be asked on this, like you are given n number of identical capacitors. You are given n number of identical capacitors. First they are connected in series and disconnected and then connected in what? Parallel. So calculate the ratio of the net capacitance of series to parallel. So n number of identical capacitors. Identical capacitors. First connected in series. In series, CS equals to C by N. Then disconnected and then connected in what? Parallel. Same capacitors. C parallel equals to N into C. Just now we have seen N into C. They are asking to calculate the ratio. C series by C parallel equals to C by N in the numerator by N into C. So the C will get cancelled. You will get 1 by N square. So if 3 capacitors are connected, this will be 1 by 3 square, 1 by 9. 4 are connected, 1 by 4 square, 1 by 16. This is 1 mark question. This is the question asked in board examination also. And we will see now energy, how we calculate, and the ratio of the energies for series and parallel combination also can be asked. That we will see now. Right. So next one is energy of the capacitor. So when the capacitor is charged, it stores energy in the form of electricity between the plates. Okay. So you have now a parallel plate capacitor, which is now electrically neutral. So there is no charge on this. So there is no potential difference. But still it has got capacitance. For capacitance you don't require charge and potential, because capacitance expression is C equals to A epsilon naught by D. You need only plate area, separation between the plates and the medium between the plates. Maybe vacuum, air or glass, anything. Accordingly it will change. So it has no potential now. It has no charge now. But it has a capacitance given by A epsilon naught by D. Such a capacitor is now connected across a battery, say DC battery. So this plus, minus, this V. Now we say capacitor is being charged by the battery. So charging will not be done all of a sudden. It is a process which takes some time. Let us say now the positive terminal is sending a small amount of charge dq. So this dq will go like this and will reside on the plate like this. So as there was no charge residing on the capacitor plate, battery will find it easy to send dq from this to this. Okay, right. In the next event what will happen? Another dq will begin. Another dq will begin. This dq now has to go and reside on the surface of the plate. Now as already there is a positive charge available on the plate, residing on the plate, this dq will find little difficult to go there, because this dq which is already residing there, this dq which is already residing there will repel this, will repel the other next quantum of dq. So battery now has to do some work against the electrostatic repulsion of first dq on the second dq. So by doing some little amount of work, let us say battery has stored this dq also over here, right? Then next comes another dq from the battery. Now two charges are residing, they together will try to repel the third dq. So now battery has to do more work to send the third dq. This also will go like this. As the capacitor is being charged, battery has to do more and more work. Okay, because the force of repulsion on the next subsequent quantum of charges will be gradually increasing. Now this plate acquires equal amount of negative charge on the right side. So this process will continue until the potential difference. Now as soon as it acquires the polarity positive and negative, it starts developing a potential difference. At the beginning, suppose this is a 12 volt battery I have connected. Initially there was 0 volt when no charge was there. Next it will become 1 volt. Next it will become 2. Next it will become 3. Next it will become 4. As its potential is going on increasing, battery has to do more and more work. So how long it will continue? It will continue till the potential difference across the battery becomes, potential difference across the capacitor becomes equal to potential difference of the battery. I repeat, this sending of charge in the amounts dq will continue by the battery until the potential difference across the capacitor becomes equal to the potential difference of the battery. Right? So when it acquires 12 volt, when it acquires for example 12 volt, then this movement of charge will not stop. So till that time there will be a current flowing. If you have got a small bulb here, you can see that the bulb will be what? Glowing. This is a bulb. So current is flowing in the circuit now. We generally say that capacitor blocks DC, it will allow only AC. Of course true. That is, once the capacitor is fully charged, now the battery will, the bulb will automatically off. There is no glow because there is no flow of electric charge. Okay, right. So work done by this is not constant. Work done by this force is increased. The force between the dqs and the dq sent by the battery is continuously increasing. So we use an equation to calculate the work done by the battery as W equals to integral of, you know that W equals to QV, because potential is defined as W by Q. Work done per unit charge is called potential, therefore W equals to Q into V. So now we are sending dq amount of charge, At dq amount of charge, let us say the potential remains constant. When delta Q tends to 0, it will become dq. By losing such a small amount of charge or acquiring this charge, there is no change in the potential. That is the imagination. So from where to where? Initially there was 0 charge on the capacitor plates. Now finally it acquires a charge Q. So integration limits will be 0 to Q. Definite integral this is. Okay, right. So this will be integral 0 to Q into dq V. Now this V should be integrated in terms of dq. That cannot be done. One physical quantity cannot be integrated in terms of other. The integral element and this function, both of them should be what? Same. Therefore, now we should convert V in terms of the dqs. That is Q. So V is nothing but what? You know that C equals to Q by V. C equals to Q by V. So V equals now what? Q by C. So in the place of V, I will write Q by C. Remember, as charge is increasing, don't think that the capacitance will increase. No, capacitance will remain same. Capacitance is a constant. Capacitance depends only on the plate area and separation between the plates and medium between the plates. So therefore, this 1 by C is a constant. So now in the integration I have 0 to Q, Q dq. This Q I have written first and then what? Dq. So dq is the integral element of Q. Now Q dq is nothing but x dx, x square by 2. So this is 1 by C into this is Q square by 2, limits 0 to Q. So upper limit 1 by C, the 2 is also out. This is upper limit Q only, Q square minus lower limit 0 square. So this will be Q square. So you will get W equals to Q square by 2C. What is this? This is the work done by the battery. This work done by the battery to store charge on the capacitor plates is now converted into energy, that is nothing but energy of the capacitor. So I will write this as, this implies U equals to Q square by 2C. What is the statement you should write in between these two? Work done by the battery is stored in the form of energy in the capacitor. I repeat, work done by the battery is stored in the form of energy in the capacitor given by U equals to Q square by 2C. So where does it reside? Energy will be there in the electric field. Where is the electric field? Electric field is there in between the plates. So there is the energy available with the capacitor. So U equals to Q square by 2C. That's all. This is the energy. So if you want to write this in other terms, U equals to, now in the place of Q, you can write Q is nothing but C into V. So Q square means CV whole square by 2C. So this is C square V square by 2C. The square and C will be cut. You will get U equals to half CV square. This is one of the popular formats which we have for the energy. Kinetic energy half mv square, potential energy of a spring half kx square, energy of the capacitor half cv square, like that. Energy of a inductor half li square, that we are going to see in the next chapters. So this is half cv square. You also can convert this into, now you converted q, try to convert c. So u equals to 1 by 2 into q square by, this equation I am using, q square by 2 is there, c value, c is nothing but q by v. So this is q divided by v. So this q and square will cancel, you will get half q into v. Right. This equation, so all of them are same only, one are same, one and same. Q square by 2c you can write, half cv square you can write, half qv you write. This equation will raise some doubts in our mind that battery is having a potential difference V and it has sent a charge Q onto the plates Q only from 0 to Q. So battery has sent total amount of charge Q, so that the potential difference across this will be what V. So work done must be equals to W equals to Q into V only. But you can see we are getting only half QV. So what happened to the other half QV? That remaining half QV, I said there is a current flowing now. Until the capacitor is fully charged, current will continue to flow in the circuit. If you have a small battery, small bulb, the bulb will be glowing. The glow of the bulb will be gradually decreasing. It will be very bright at the beginning and the brightness will gradually decrease. Once the capacitor is fully charged, the brightness will be 0. That is, bulb is off. So, during the flow of current in the wires, according to Joule's law, heat energy is developed. H equals to I square RT, where I is the current flowing, R is the resistance offered by this wire, T is the time for which it is being charged. So, that energy, half QV, is wasted in the form of heat in the connecting wires. So, remaining half QV is wasted in the form of heat in the connecting wires. Yes, this is also very important. Where is it? Where is it wasted? Is it wasted by the capacitor or wasted by the wire? Capacitor is the ideal device, it will not waste any energy. Energy is not wasted. Energy cannot be wasted by capacitor. Energy wasted by only connecting wires. Of heat in the connecting wires. Right. Okay. Now, so there is some distance between the plates and there is a plate area A, so that the volume of the capacitor, you can calculate the volume. Now this is the combination. I know the plate area, this is the plate area and the separation between them. So you will get a three-dimensional view. That is nothing but what volume. So how much energy is stored per unit volume in the capacitor, that is known as energy density of the capacitor. That we will see now. So now I can use any of these equations. Energy density. I add word density. So energy density equals to energy stored per unit volume. So I give a symbol U. U stands for energy and D stands for density. So UD equals to energy, let me take half CV square divided by volume is nothing but what? A into D. Area of the plates multiplied by distance between the plates. Okay, right. So this is half into A epsilon naught by D, C value. V, how do you write V? V is nothing but, we wrote E equals to minus dV by dx in the previous class. So if you write only the magnitude, this is potential divided by distance. Therefore, V equals to electric field multiplied by distance. So V is nothing but electric field multiplied by distance whole square whole divided by A into D. Now, this will be half into A epsilon naught by D into E square D square divided by A into D. So this A and A cancels. D into D is D square. DD with D square. Left over is half into epsilon 0 into E square. Pen is getting exhausted. So are you able to see? This is UD equals to half into epsilon 0 into E square. So this is your energy density. So this also can be asked for 2 marks. So this you are going to use in electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic wave is generated because of the oscillation of an electric charge. So it produces an oscillating electric field and also oscillating magnetic field. So electric field energy varies with half epsilon naught into E square. Magnetic field energy will vary with half into B square by mu naught. So this is the energy density. Okay? Oh. Now with this we have come to the end of the chapter. So we have done all the theory part. And you know that physics is such a subject which finds a lot of application. So what I request you is see the videos repeatedly, make notes on your own. Wherever you are not able to understand, pause the video, repeatedly watch it and try to understand the things which are taught. If you are unable to understand from this lesson, then take the help of the textbook. 99% I am following the textbook only. All the conventions, all the concepts and even order also, most of the order I am following from the textbook only. Because the question paper in the board examination is based only on the textbook. Textbook is the Bhagavad Gita for examiner, paper setter also. Okay, there may be slight deviations in 1 or 2 questions that are nothing but covered under hearts, higher order thinking skills. But most of the question paper and most of the questions are set from the textbook only. So therefore, wherever you are unable to understand my teaching, my expression, I request you to open the textbook, correlate both of them and make the notes on your own. You will be benefited much if you continuously do the application. Physics is a science that requires application. Simply learning the things by heart or rote learning will not help. That will create a great confusion when you are writing the examination. So everything you just put on a paper, repeatedly write it, whether you understood or not. At the first instance, go on writing. Second time you write, third time you write, fourth time you write, fifth time automatically you will understand. So writing has that much importance. Okay, so as many numericals you solve, that much physics you will be learning. So once you start learning the physics on your own, you start loving the subject. So you don't feel like leaving it. Okay, so every day you feel like doing some problems from the textbook. So there are exercises at the back of the textbook, or I have given the assignment also. I have uploaded in the Google Classroom. That message also I am going to put in the group. So make use of these video lessons. I tried my level best to do something for you. Zoom and all I did not believe in, because it created a lot of problem on the first day, and people started chatting on your own from one to other. So I wanted to stop all that nuisance. So this video lesson will help you. I am recording this with very low end mobile which I have. I have only the Redmi 4, not even Note also, such a small mobile, and I am unable to focus myself in the camera because of my height. When I try to focus the board, I am missing. When I am focused and the board is missing. So I am not so important for you. It is a board that is very important, and my words which are spoken while teaching. Okay, so with the minimum available resources, I try to compile these video lessons. And though yesterday was the last day, but we are coming to the end of the chapter, so I continued. And you don't feel that I am encroaching into your holidays, but our commissioner sir wants that classes, if voluntarily teachers are coming forward, parents are coming forward, and students are ready, you can continue. So let me see that I am observing that there are very little views, 16, 20 views per day. But actually in the class you are all 36 and 39. So every one of you must watch the video. You are not watching on the first day when I am posting it. You are watching day after day, day after day. So at least now you have got some 40 to 50 days holidays, 40 50 days holidays are there. Okay. So watch the videos again and again. Make the notes on your own. And if you have got still some confusion or some things to be clarified by me, we will see them after reopening. So I wish you all the best and hope you are benefited with my video lessons. And if you want more help from me, you can post in the group. Okay, thank you. All the best. Stay at home, stay safe. Convey my regards to your parents and cooperate with them. Don't frustrate